What's good, everybody? Edgar and Tommy here from the Snug Wrestling Podcast. And Tommy, we wear glasses, right? I wear glasses. You wear glasses, right?
Yeah, I have for a few years now.
Yeah, me too, man. And one of the things that I always have issues with is my glasses always seem to break on me.
Yeah, it's all the time. It sucks.
I don't know if it's me or if it's probably the frames, but luckily we found Aquila who they have some pretty hefty lenses now. Um, these are handcrafted limited run shades they're made straight from LA and they are built to last, Tommy.
They are strong as all hell, and go get yourself some because they're damn good.
Yeah, they so they're made from 50% recycled materials like plant-based, cellulose acetate and titanium, and they've got UV blocking sun lenses. Tommy, does your glasses have all that?
Mine do not.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to get you some Aquila glasses and also the blue light options and even prescription lenses. So, yeah, man, you can get yourself some cool, sustainable shades with all the bells and whistles, and they're all built to last and look clean. Plus, Aquila's serious about sustainability. They're a member of a nonprofit organization, 1% of the planet, and that means 1% of every sale is donated to reputable environmental organizations around the globe. And check this out, Tommy. This gets even better because if you listen to us, you get an exclusive 10% off any order with the code SNUG at checkout.
All right, so go check them out. Get yourself some glasses. Now let's get on with NXT.
Yeah, it's save 10% with that promo code SNUG. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Snug Wrestling. This week, me and Tommy are in the booth. I am Edgar. I am the host to go over NXT from this week. We missed NXT last week, and I kind of regretted that because I missed a shit ton of NXT. There's a lot of shit went down. So this week I was not going to miss out, and I'm glad I didn't because a lot of shit happened again this week. But Tommy, how you feeling tonight, bro?
Feeling good, honestly. It feels good to be back with NXT, even though it's only been like a fucking week off.
Did you watch last week's episode too?
I did watch NXT last week. I saw good old Ricky Saints heel turn out of nowhere on Javon Evans during his title match that he cashed in. So there was this fatal four-way that was announced for the main event for tonight.
Yeah, so this week's episode of NXT started off with the video package from the week before. Kind of refreshing everybody's mind as to, how the heel turn by Ricky Saints went. Javon Evans had, instead of waiting until New Year's Evil, decided to cash in his NXT title shot that he earned by winning the Iron Survivor Challenge, right? So Javon was like, nah, I'm going to cash it in right now tonight versus Obafemi. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ricky Saints was standing ringside during this match. And that's when the heel turn happened, right?
Yeah. Ricky was ringside for Javon. Little did Javon know that right when he almost had Oba right there, Ricky was going to pull the ref out right from under him.
Yeah. So we go out to the parking lot where Javon Evans was waiting there for Ricky Saints to pull up, and he was waiting and waiting, and Javon Evans was not going to go anywhere until Ricky Saints pulled up, and then throughout the show, we saw Javon Evans a couple times just pacing back and forth in the parking lot waiting. Ava went out there to try to talk some sense to Javon. It wasn't until Leon Slater went out there and was like, "Hey, bro, I need you in my corner in this match. Come inside. It's fucking freezing out here in Florida. I'm freezing my balls off. Stop standing out here. Just go inside." And that's how NXT started. Were you surprised by this time you seeing Javon Evans this fucking ticked off?
No, because of the fact that he trusted Ricky Sainz last week, and after all the conversations that they had, the last thing that Javon expected was for Ricky Sainz to screw him over. So him being pissed is absolutely justified there.
And then we go on to the first match of the night. We're kicking off the show with the North American Championship match for the women's title, Blake Monroe versus Thea Hale. Thea Hale has been built up for the past couple weeks. She's had a couple wins under her belt. And again, did Thea Hale win a specific match last week that I'm not aware of? Or what happened last week that put her in this spot versus Blake Monroe?
Last week, Blake Monroe was supposed to have an open challenge, but the problem is the entirety of the women's locker room came out all at once. So she was distracted. The match hadn't even started yet. Thea Hill came up behind Blake Monroe, put her in a submission, and Blake tapped, which then gave us this match here this week.
Got you. Okay. Interesting. So 2 weeks in a row, Thea Hale got the better of Blake Monroe because what seemed like was just a regular TV match just to make, put another win on Blake Monroe to make her look like a stronger champion and give her another successful title defense. Out of nowhere, Thea Hale picked up the win 1, 2, 3, which seemed like a botched moment by either, I don't know, the people were saying it was a referee. Some people were saying it was Blake Monroe. But it definitely, I got that feeling like this was not supposed to happen, right? Tommy, what do you think happened here in this match?
Right before we started filming, I saw a clip from Bubba Ray Dudley, him saying that he watched this match over and over again. And what ended up happening was that last move from Thea, that was definitely stiff and knocked the wind right out of Blake Monroe. So my guess is she was supposed to kick out of that, but just couldn't kick out in time because she just couldn't breathe properly.
Yeah, that's one hell of a move that Thea Hale did. She did like she bounced off the bottom rope with her back towards Blake Monroe, kind of like a trust fall, but Blake Monroe is laying in the middle of the ring, and Thea Hale just slams her back, all of her weight onto Blake Monroe. Now, Thea Hale doesn't weigh a lot. She's probably like a good, I don't know, like 175. But still, all of her weight just lands on Blake Monroe. And it's not like a frog splash or a splash from the top rope. Like when you're doing it that way, like most of the weight, the impact goes on the elbows and like on the knees when you're landing on top of them. You're not putting your whole entire weight on the person you're slamming if you're doing like a frog splash. This one, Thea Hale, she's landing on her back, not on her front side. So all of that weight is just pushing up against you. First of all, I'm like, that's a crazy ass thing to do. Like, I don't care who you are, that shit's gonna hurt. So there's a lot of things that told me, okay, this was not supposed to happen. Number one, right before the referee was about to count 3, you can see Thea Hale in the video beginning to start to move, like to get back up. And then the referee counts to 3. Blake Monroe then lifts up her arm, not her shoulder. She just lifts up her arm. And then Blake Monroe's music played. So they had Blake Monroe's music queued up because she was supposed to win. And then whoever was in the back realized, like, oh shit, it Thea Hell won. And then they stopped playing Blake Monroe's music, and then they played Thea Hell's music. So there were so many things. Everyone was confused, including Thea Hell. She couldn't fucking believe it. But yes, later on it was confirmed that this wasn't supposed to happen. Now they're scrapping, they're changing plans. But it really got my attention the way this whole thing went down. Things got really interesting here for me, if I'm being honest.
This isn't the first time that WWE had to do something like this. I would gladly refer to a certain Rumble with Cena where him and Batista both hit the ground at the same damn time, which ended up with Vince coming out and screwing up both of his quads. So this is not the first time that a botch ending has happened, and they kind of had to scramble through just to figure out what the hell to do here. But honestly, I think Thea still deserves it. I mean, she's been working her ass off. She said it in a backstage segment later on in the show. She's been there in the Performance Center since she was 18. Mm-hmm. So, and this is like her first title that she's ever held. So she's been in there for a few years now. And this is her first title that she's ever held. So honestly, I think this is a great start for her.
Yeah, and I think not only like going all the way back to that time where the Royal Rumble was messed up, but I feel like recently it happened a couple times where the referee stopped counting because the person did not kick out. One of the most recent times that I can remember, I believe it was like a triple threat match. I want to say it was like Jade Cargill, Nia Jax, and it was the one match where Jade Cargill got busted open really badly. Oh, I think it was Tiffany Stratton. Stratton, the third person. In that match, I think Tiffany Stratton had pinned Nia Jax, and Nia Jax didn't kick out, and the referee stopped counting. And obviously, it was clear as day. Everyone saw it. Everyone in the arena started booing. Then Tiffany Stratton had to climb back up to the top rope, hit her finish, and then the referee counted 1, 2, 3. There was another time too that recently, I want to say it happened not that long ago, but I can't really think of the specifics of it. But I think this was just WWE saying, like, telling the referees, hey, if the opponent doesn't kick out, you fucking count. Like, you don't stop counting. So I think that's what happened here. This young guy, the referee, did his job. Hey, Blake Monroe isn't kicking out. You got 3 seconds to kick out. So I don't know. Maybe Blake Monroe was winded, or, she couldn't continue, or I don't know what happened. But bottom line, Blake Monroe didn't kick out. We got a new champion in Thea Hell. But what a way to be crowned North American champion in this way. That's fucking insane, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's very clear that Booker T did not like this decision at all, because on multiple occasions throughout this entire show, he is very adamant that she kicked out, but in reality, she didn't kick out until after that final count.
Yeah, I watched that clip like over and over again, and nope, she had no movement. Her arms were down and everything. It wasn't until after the referee counted to 3 she got her arm up. But it's kind of crazy. Good on Thea Hale, but also I kind of feel bad for Blake Monroe, because I'm like, you kind of just screwed yourself out of being North American champion. Like, they had all these plans for you, I'm sure, to have these matches on TV, and now you basically just gave it to Thea Hale.
I have a feeling she's going to get a rematch at some point and immediately get that title back.
I mean, hopefully. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of surprising to see something like this happen to someone like Blake Monroe, of all people, because Blake Monroe, like, I'm not too familiar with her entire career, but even when she was in AEW, AEW was putting Blake Monroe over. Well, at the time she was Mariah May, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mariah May. And she was like they were putting her over because she came from Stardom and she like wrestled in Japan. So Blake Monroe is not like anyone new, at least as far as I'm concerned. Like she's been wrestling for a long time at a very high level. For something like this to happen to her, something must have went really wrong in that move or in that in that match for her to kind of just not go with whatever was planned.
yeah. It's very clear that what that move did was take the wind right out of her. So she just could not kick out in time.
Yeah, that's got to be it. All right, speaking of champions and the North American champion, the men's North American champion, Ethan Page was out there cutting a promo because last week he was attacked by who was it who attacked him last week?
Tony D'Angelo.
Is he still Italian?
I believe so, but then again, we haven't heard anything from him. We haven't seen any matches as of recently with him. We've just seen him looming around.
So did he come back at their last PLE and I completely missed it? Is that what happened?
Yes, what you are forgetting is, I believe, right after the men's Iron Survivor, that is when Tony D'Angelo came back.
Okay. And so Ethan Page is not happy, obviously. He tries to call out Tony D'Angelo, but instead he gets Moose from TNA, and Moose calls his shot because, also Stax was out there. He had a championship belt too from TNA. So in this one segment, we had a championship belt from NXT, a championship belt from AAA, because Ethan Page holds two titles, and then a championship from TNA that Stax held that I have no idea what was about or what title that's for, but
It's their international title. It's basically the Intercontinental.
okay, got you. So Stax is that champion from TNA, right? So Moose from TNA shows up and he's like, you know what, Stax, I'm coming back for that championship belt because people in TNA aren't happy that another NXT guy is holding one of our championship belts, but lucky for you, I'm here for Ethan Page. So, it's okay for it's not okay for NXT guys to have TNA championships, but it's okay for TNA guys to challenge for NXT championships. But hey, so Ethan Page and Moose are going to face each other now Moose did not say New Year's Evil. He said something else.
No, he said the NXT Awards show, which is next week.
What the fuck is that?
It's basically what the whole match of the year shit, all of that is for main roster stuff, but it's with NXT instead.
Okay. So yeah, I think that should be a good match. It's going to be a good challenge for Ethan Page. Moose is a beast, so that should be really interesting. I wonder what that's going to look like. Got that to look forward to next week. The next match was a tag team match. Hank and Tank versus Out the Mud. I love this match. This match was fucking insane. I love the pacing of this one. And, these are four guys that I'm not very familiar with. I've only seen these guys wrestle a handful of times, and they're starting to get over with me. I love the intensity. I love the energy of these four guys. The physicality was really good. The one that I really liked the most was Tank. Tank he's like, I don't know. There's something about him that just gets my attention. He's like crazy. When he's like lifting up his shirt and he's like smacking his belly and, his crazy hair and he's just like stomping around all crazy. Like that like he's a character. He has something. Tank does.
Yeah, that's Hank and Tank for you.
Well, I don't know about Hank. Hank, he's kind of bland or what. He's just blah. But Tank he's got something. But yeah, what'd you think about this match, Tommy?
It honestly feels good to see Hank and Tank back in the ring again for NXT because they went to Japan for a little bit and even won tag gold over there. So it feels good to finally have Hank and Tank back here and for you to finally see what Hank and Tank is all about because they are absolutely a comedic tag team, but they are also a really good tag team. And them going up against OTM, it balances that out because you've got the goofiness of Hank and Tank, and then you've got like how stern and all of that OTM is. So that balanced that match out perfectly. But with Hank and Tank, I am not surprised that they won, mainly because of the fact that, like I just said, they just won tag gold in Japan as well. That they're probably going to have to go back over there and defend at some point. But still, they've already got tag gold. They are the former NXT tag champions as well. So there's that.
Now let's be fair. Like when I'm talking about just Tank. All right, from what I've seen from Hank, no, Tank needs to get away from him as far as possible, as soon as possible. But hey, like I said, I've only seen him a handful of times. Maybe in the next few weeks, maybe Hank will impress me in some way. But right now, no, thank you.
That's
What else do you know?
the same thing about Sol Ruka. So
Who?
you say the same thing about Sol.
Never heard of him. Anyway, what else do you know about this whole thing from Japan? Because the announcers did mention that a couple times, the fact that Hank and Tank were in Japan, and they didn't mention any names. They didn't mention anything about championship belts. If they are champions, why didn't have the belts on them on NXT? What's that about? Or what do you know about that? The whole Japan thing with Hank and Tank.
I don't really know much about it because they've been like Hank and Tank themselves have been posting videos about it here and there.
Mm.
But all I know is they won tag gold in Japan, and that's about it. Because that's
Okay.
I've seen. I've seen a clip of that and them holding up those tag titles after winning them, but that's all I really know about it.
Fair enough. Ricky Saints showed up with a crew of security guards, super backed up, right? But Ricky Saints is back on his element, man. Ricky Saints is a natural fucking heel. And his promos were good when he was a babyface, but his promos are even better as a heel. Like he was fired up. He was like, I'm here to prove that I am the guy that can put any brand on his back. There's no one cleaner, no one better, no one fresher, no one that smells better than me. And this guy has it, man, on the mic and in the ring. This guy is so fucking good. And right off the bat, man, just 1 week after turning heel on Javon Evans, he has major fucking heat. Because Ricky Saints is so easy to hate. And the people are booing Ricky Saints when he's cutting the promo. And Javon Evans hits the ring and the people exploded. That little performance center with like a couple hundred people fucking sounded like a fucking crowd full of people, you know, like a much bigger crowd basically. And it was an exciting moment. The security guards were trying to break up, Javon Evans. And once they were able to do that, Ricky Saints, started getting the heat on Javon Evans, put Javon Evans through the announce table. But I thought, man, what a great way to kick off a feud between Ricky Saints and Javon Evans.
Oh yeah, this isn't really that hard to do just because of the fact that it's Javon Evans and Ricky Saints. I don't really know much about how he is as a heel because I didn't really watch AEW. I still don't. Clearly, because you went out of it after 2 damn segments today. So,
Yeah, I tried. I tried. I'm not, well, to be fair, like I usually watch AEW, but like today I started watching it at the top of the hour at 6 o'clock, and which is halfway through the show. And it was the World Heavyweight Championship scene with Samoa Joe, Hangman Adam Page, Swerve Strickland was there, so it's all the top guys, right? And then MJF's music hit like right as soon as I turned my TV on, like at the right moment. It was like perfect timing. And I was like, oh, well, I've already seen everything that I needed to see. I I don't really need to see anything else. I saw MJF, I saw the world champion, I saw all the top guys. I'm done. Goodbye.
but yeah, I can definitely tell just by one promo alone that there are certain wrestlers that are natural born heels. Roman Reigns is absolutely one of them. Don't believe me? Look at his big dog gimmick and then compare it to his tribal chief gimmick. And then there's a ton of others that are just natural born heels. Logan Paul absolutely being one of them.
Yeah.
Almost anyone connected to Paul Heyman, pretty much there you go.
Yeah.
But at this point, I can already tell that he is a natural born heel, and Javon Evans is absolutely going to have a tough time dealing with him. Although, apparently 5 security guards thought it would be a great idea to try and hold Javon Evans back, even though it was very clear this boy is bouncy and that ain't happening.
Well, here's the thing, though. The security guards were able to hold back Javon Evans. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that when Ricky Sainz was beating the crap out of Javon Evans, the security guards were just standing there like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. But when Javon Evans was beating up on Ricky Sainz, they were grabbing him and trying to pull him apart.
Go back, no.
Yeah, but it's like, all right.
Ricky,
they're clearly...
I'm going to let him deal with that.
Yeah, they're clearly, working for Ricky Sainz, which I thought was hilarious, but yeah. Anything else about this segment, Tommy?
Yeah, I can already tell that this is going to be a phenomenal feud already.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go backstage because Ava was talking to Ethan Page, and Ethan Page was like, what the fuck? You're going to put me in a match versus Moose? There's Moose here in Florida, blah, blah, blah. What's going on with this company? You put me, iguanas are stealing my car. There's a moose all around the place. Like, what's going on? And then Chelsea Green shows up, and poor Chelsea Green. They're going to make her defend her title versus Sol Ruka. I guess it makes sense because Sol Ruka defeated Bayley at Saturday Night's Main Event, which I guess that should give her a title shot versus Chelsea Green. Why not?
Honestly, I'm into it. And I love the fact that what was announced as well is those mixed tag titles aren't even safe. Because he's defending those, I believe, next week as well. So I say let's do that. He's defending the mixed tag titles and then the North American title practically the next week. So I'm super into this. Let's do it. And when it comes to Soul, good luck, Chelsea Green, with that Soul Snatcher.
She's not gonna need it.
Yeah, she will.
All right, let's go on to the next match. Now we go to a women's tag team match. And it was JC Jane's faction, the tag team of, what is it, Fatal Influence?
Yeah, it's Fatal Influence.
Versus the very beloved Kendall Gray, Women's Evolved Champion, who recently won the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. And she's teaming up with some random girl. I have no idea who she is. What's her name?
Sinclair.
Who?
Ren Sinclair.
And how the hell do these two know each other?
They have been dealing with backstage stuff throughout the last couple of months. with
Okay.
being Evolve champion. She's come up against stuff when it comes to Kendall Gray and that title. So she's kind of teamed up with Ren Sinclair and the rest of that fucking group.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, the people love Kendall Gray, man. She was on fire in this match. She got the pin for for the win for her team. Not only that, but she got the hot tag as well, which is really important to mention in a tag team match because it's usually, the baby face that the people really want to see make the comeback, and it was Kendall Gray who got it, and the place popped as soon as she got tagged in, and she is freaking insane in the ring, dude. No matter, I mean, she's pretty small or whatever, but she can go, man. She's pretty fucking good. I think she's gonna do wonders in NXT, and hell, maybe fast forward a couple years from now in the main roster, man. It's gonna be fun to see Kendall Gray grow and get better and improve. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of her for sure, man. Um, I mean, I like her way better already than Sol Ruka or what's the other girl's name that you guys love so much, that Maxine Dupree. Big difference compared. This girl Kendall Gray can actually go, but hey, that's just me. So yeah, not a bad tag team match in my opinion. But what you think?
Not a bad tag team match at all. And you are also neglecting one little detail. JC Jane was on fucking commentary during this,
Yeah,
and she decided it would be a great idea to try to talk shit with the mic on her to Kendall Gray. She then learned throughout this match that is a terrible idea, getting herself cross-bodied by Ren Sinclair and a ton of other things. So at this point, I'm honestly hyped for that match at New Year's Evil on January 6th. So I say maybe Kendall's got a shot with it, but I have my doubts.
yeah, and I can understand what's happening here. It's easy to follow because Kendall Gray, she's the number one contender. You got the champion in the announce table. The champion's Kendall Gray is fighting the champion's lackey. So this is a good piece of work to build up their match for New Year's Evil, which I thought was really good. We got a post interview from the match between Thea Hale and Blake Monroe. And I thought this was okay. Let's see what happens here because this one was not planned. This one was done on the fly because the outcome of the match, the opening match, was not supposed to happen. So I'm interested. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Thea Hale is crazy and she's excited and she's happy. And basically, Blake Monroe steps into the picture and it was like, you know, fuck. The only thing I remember her saying is basically, I need to get my rematch. And the first thing that I thought of was, okay, maybe then they're going to try to correct this. They're going to give Blake Monroe her rematch because of the rematch clause. And then Blake Monroe wins it back from Thea Hale. That was my first thought, right? But what did you think about this backstage segment, Tommy?
Yeah, basically what she said is, I kicked out. You should have my title. I want my rematch. That's the gist of what she said on that. And I have this feeling like that's exactly what's going to happen. She's going to get her rematch, probably at New Year's Evil. Wouldn't be surprised on that. Blake Monroe gets the title back. Everything is fixed, and there you go. But what I found interesting is, why can't I remember the name of the other girl that was there?
Jordan Grace.
Yes, Jordan Grace showed up, was like, hey, this girl has been champion for like 30 minutes. Give her time, man. So that makes me think that maybe within that match itself, Jordan might try to help out Thea, but it will probably be to no avail.
Man, I don't think it's that easy to correct something like this, Tommy. I think, hey, work with what you got, make chicken salad out of chicken shit, how they say, and give Thea a good run. Sorry, Blake, but you fucked up. And I'm not saying like, oh, punish Blake Monroe. Don't give her another title reign because of that. But like, see what you can do now with Thea Hale. You can still do stuff with Blake Monroe because she's over. But like, if you just beat Thea Hale just like that and just put the belt back on Blake Monroe, it's just kind of like, well, fuck. Well, Thea Hale is not championship material. I think it would hurt Thea Hale if you just take it off of her just like that, you know?
The problem is, it reminds me of the whole LA Knight Shinsuke Nakamura situation that happened earlier this year, with the fact that they took the title, the United States title, off of LA Knight, gave it to Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke was out and doing absolutely nothing with it for weeks. And then they just put it right back on to LA Knight. So that might be the situation we have here of she's just a transitional champion. But maybe she will get a pretty lengthy reign. And if she does, I say make it good.
Well, let's assume that they do just that. Let's assume that Blake Monroe defeats Thea Hale in the rematch and they put the belt back on Blake Monroe. Obviously, Blake Monroe's a heel. Thea Hale's a babyface. The people love Thea Hale. Is that the type of heat you want to put on Blake Monroe? You know, like obviously the people are not going to be happy because the fans are smart. They know that wasn't supposed to happen. And they just put it back on Blake Monroe. And it's just like, well, fuck, we want to see Thea Hale as champion, not this girl. Like, man, boo this girl. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's the type of heat you want, do you? Or is like any heat better than no heat? What do you think?
I think any heat is better than no heat at this point, because at least she's getting a reaction from the crowd itself.
Fair enough. All right, let's go to the main event, Tommy. We had a fatal four-way: Leon Slater, Joe Hendry. Who else was in this thing?
It was Slater, Hendry, Miles Bourne, and Dion Lennox. It was
correct.
The 4 members from the Iron Survivor Challenge.
Correct, yes. And I'm not going to lie to you, Tommy. I watched like 5 minutes of this match and I'm like, okay, I can't do this. I can't, bro. Like, there's so many triple threat matches that we watch and fatal four-way matches. And I'm just like, nah, bro. Like, I just did not care for this main event, if I'm being honest. Like, what was the point of this main event? Maybe because I didn't watch NXT last night. I don't know what was happening here.
This main event was to decide who will be Obafemi's opponent for New Year's Evil, since Javon Evans cashed in his title shot already.
Okay, so it's a number 1 contenders fatal four-way match, but I'm like, to me it just looked like 4 random guys just in the ring doing shit to each other for whatever reason, so I couldn't do it. So what happened, Tommy?
So there was a couple of times where I personally thought that Joe Hendry almost had it. He performed his stuff like twice, his finisher twice on Miles Bourne, to no avail on that. But the winner ended up being the X Division champion, Leon Slater, in which I was a little bit shocked about because, like I said, I thought it was going to be Joe Hendricks. I'm like, you know what? Give this man a title shot, because it's only a matter of time before he's quickly pulled up, especially with the fact that he's technically got problems with Miz as well.
Who does?
Hendry.
Okay.
So that's what I thought was going to happen. That did not happen. Leon Slater ended up getting the win on 1 foot, because in the middle of the match, his ankle, I believe it was his left one, ended up getting a little bit injured and skewed from closer to the beginning of the match. So Leon Slater is now your number one contender and will be the opponent for Obafemi for the NXT title. But what I found interesting is what happened after the match.
Mm-hmm.
Obafemi comes out, and I'm like, okay, great, slight little face-off. But if you look closely up top, someone lurking.
Ricky?
Tony D'Angelo.
Oh, good God.
Up top.
Okay.
So maybe he gets involved in it. We don't know. But hey, it seems like right after Oba's done with Leon, because I don't think he's getting that NXT title, that maybe Tony D is up next.
Well, Tony D'Angelo has a long way to go before he can get a number one contenders match or, be the number one contender. But yeah, good on Leon Slater, man. They seem to be putting a whole lot of attention on him, which is pretty cool, especially because, a lot of fans think that this whole thing with NXT and TNA partnership is very one-sided, which I'm not one of those fans. I don't believe that's true, and I think this is a perfect example of that. Even though Leon Slater might not win at New Year's Evil, but hey, he was on Cena's final match event, in the ring with AJ Styles. He won this fatal 4-way in the main event of NXT. He's getting a title shot. So, these TNA guys are being highlighted in a major way.
Not to mention, you've got Moose getting an NXT North American title shot as well. That was confirmed earlier in the night as well.
Yeah. And, we've seen Kaylani Jordan, she won the TNA championship, right? But it's going to be a big deal when one of these TNA stars wins an NXT championship. It's going to be huge for TNA, especially with their TV deal coming up pretty soon on AMC, which I believe is starting soon. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the time around the same time that a TNA wrestler wins an NXT championship. I think that'll help him out a lot,
I think Moose getting the North American title and bringing that sucker back would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't see why not. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff went down here on this episode of NXT. I'm glad I watched it this week, but yeah, that was this week's NXT. Tommy, anything else before we get up out of here?
Nope, not really.
All right, well, that was fun. Tommy, like always, going over NXT stuff and watching NXT and all that good stuff. Let's get up out of here.
All right, I want y'all to stay safe, stay savage, stay snug. Check out the merch that is in all of our bios. That is also in the bio itself of this episode and every episode that comes out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, everywhere you get your podcast at. So that was 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.